Meeting to order, and also let you know Commissioner Palatka is out today, little health issue that arose. So if you will, please stand. The invocation will be led by Roger Phillips, Beulah Baptist Church, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be done by Commissioner Alexander this morning.
Mr. Harvey, I was making a comment to you as I came in. You talked about my shirt, and so this was a gift that was given to me, and it does make me a standout of sort, I guess, and so I'm proud to wear it. I was privileged to be able to visit in the country of Ivory Coast in West Africa and just have gotten back, and so the reason I bring that up, though, really is just the opportunity to travel outside of the United States, to be involved in places that are more challenged than we are in this country, and it gives us a great reason to be thankful for the country that we live in. And so that's why I say that. Although I was glad for the opportunity to visit and to work with other pastors in Ivory Coast, it's a pleasure to be back here, and maybe especially so since it's Memorial Day weekend and we're celebrating that great holiday, and thankful for the freedom and the independence that we have as a nation. So I'm very thankful to this whole group of folks that are standing here for your willingness to help us to live in a country that's something we can be very proud of. And so let's pray together. Heavenly Father, I do thank you, Lord, for the privilege of being here today, for being able to say just a few words here this morning in thanks and appreciation. First of all, Lord, for a country that is free. It's not free by accident. It wasn't a mistake. It was very intentional, and there was a great price that was paid. And so, Father, as we stand here this morning, help us to soberly reflect on the great privileges and blessings that we have as a result of the payment and the sacrifice that was made by many thousands, even millions of people. Father, help us to recognize and to stand with pride as we look at our flag and as we look at the manifold blessings that we experience each and every day, perhaps me included, that we take for granted. And so, Father, I thank you for this privilege. Thank you for this assembly, and I pray a blessing upon the proceedings that are here. Father, there are folks gathered here in the room today that are dealing with a lot of issues, and one in particular that I had the privilege of finding out a little bit about is those that are involved in drug court. And so, Father, pray for that organization. I pray for that effort that is going forward to help people to deal with an addiction. My own family has been touched by that, and Lord, I'm thankful that my father was able to deal with this addiction, not to be cured from it, but he was able to manage it. And so, Father, for these that are struggling in perhaps that way, and others that maybe I don't even understand, Father, I pray that you would just bless them and guide them, lead them, give them strength and power, Lord, that I know that you are able to do. Be with each one that is gathered here this morning. And Father, help us to stay focused on the reason and the cause that we've come. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Phillips, and thank you, Commissioner Alexander. Appreciate that very much. On our first item of business is the approval of minutes. The chair will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the minutes from the April 22nd board meeting.
Proper motion.
I second that.
A proper second. Any further discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The ayes have it. Our first presentation will be Judge Elizabeth Morris, if you'll meet me up front. And commissioners, I'll be right back. Doesn't have to be this quiet.
No.
You know they're not that quiet.
No, and when I start drug court, I say, good morning, how are y'all this morning? And they say, good morning.
go, how are you? No. Putnam County Proclamation 2025-033 Problem Solving Court Month. Whereas problem-solving courts have been restoring lives, reuniting families, and making communities safer for more than 30 years. And whereas problem-solving courts provide focus and leadership for community-wide partnerships, bringing together public safety, health professionals, and combating substance abuse, mental illness, and other issues present in the criminal judicial realm. And whereas research shows that the problem-solving courts improve treatment outcomes and do so at a lower cost than any other justice system strategies. And whereas since its inception in 2002, 252 individuals has completed the requirements of the Putnam County Drug Court Program. And whereas judges, attorneys, treatment and rehabilitation professionals, law enforcement, community supervision, personal researchers, and educators join to form the healing communities. And therefore, be it resolved that the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners declare that Drug Court Month be established during the month of May. Done, ordered, and adopted. Mr. Commissioners, I move this resolution forward.
I second that, Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The ayes have it. Congratulations, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Okay. Well, good morning, and thank you for having us once again. I love to make my annual trip over here to talk with y'all about drug court. I was just looking at it last night, and even I was amazed at this. This is my 15th year leading the drug court since Judge Nichols retired in 2011. And this is the most rewarding aspect of my week, my job, my day. This is my heart. I love these people. I love this program. You know, I love working with these folks to try to help them change their life and become productive citizens again and enjoy just the day-to-day stuff that you and I probably take for granted. So they work really, really hard at this program. I just want to tell y'all a little bit about the program for people who might be watching us. For Commissioner Newbold, Commissioner Alexander, I'm not sure how much y'all know about our program. It's a 4-phase program. It takes people somewhere between about 15 and 18 months to go through the program. That's if they don't have any hiccups. But when they come into the program, they're allowed 3 years to go through the program, and some people, you know, graduate after 2.5 years, a couple of years or whatever, and that's fine. We like for everybody to take it at their own pace. But it's phase 1 of the program is pretty intensive. I mean, we ask you to change your people, your places, your things. Think about that. If somebody came to you today and said, okay, starting tomorrow, I want you to change the places that you go, the people that you hang around with, and the things that you do, I would be hard pressed, you know, to do that. I'm set in my ways. I have my friends. I have my activities, you know. So same for them. You know, they've got their friends and their activities. Some of them aren't productive for them, so they've got to cut those things out of their life. We, you know, make them come to see probation every morning during phase 1. They check in for drug screens at the hospital randomly. They now call it 5 a.m. in the morning to see if they have a drug screening at 7 a.m. So they've got a really short window and time frame that they've got to deal with that. They do a lot of counseling, both group and individual, and I think that's probably one of the most important aspects of our program is the drug court treatment, and we partner with Stuart Marchman to do that. So that's a really great program. They also run the residential programs that we sometimes send folks to when they're having difficulty in, you know, maintaining sobriety in outpatient. So that's another environment. I'm just the leader of a team, okay? But this is a team effort, and without a team effort, this would not work. So I want to introduce to you the team members that work with me, and I'm going to just start right here. That's Mr. Sam Frazier. He is with the he's an assistant state attorney. Then we have Mrs. Samantha Earl. She is assistant to public defender. So we have a buy-in from, you know, both our prosecutors and our defenders. We have Miss Suzette Young Jackson. She is one of our drug court counselors. She's the lead drug court counselor. We have Miss Jackie Pollock. She is our drug court manager, and drug court coordinator, and she works closely with our folks every day. Then we have Mr. Pete Tuck. He is our other drug court counselor. And on the end, we have Miss Vanessa Struck. She's a probation officer, and she works with us as well. Did I miss anybody? Oh, Kristen Green, she is with Stuart Marchman, and we also have Nancy Russo in the back with Stuart Marchman. All right, so most of these people. And most of these people sitting in the middle here are drug court participants, and a few of them would like to just speak with you and tell you what drug court has done for them, means for them, you know, how it has changed their life. So I'm going to just turn it over to them and let them talk, because what they have to say is much more important than anything I have to say. All right, who wants to go first? Okay, come on, Nikki.
I'm really nervous, so I wrote a few things down. Basically, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on the bad things. Basically, a horse accident introduced me to opiates when I was 12 years old. That is where my addiction started. This was the beginning of a very long, dark road for my family and I. You see, I'm the only addict in my entire family. Along with being the only child, this put a lot of pressure on the entire situation. Throughout the years, my mother did everything in her power to help me, but I was never willing to do the internal work. Eventually, the drugs consumed every aspect of my life. I hated myself and everything around me. I walked away from everyone I loved because it was easier to run away from my problems than it was to face the pain in their eyes when they looked at me. I left my family, my kids, multiple jobs, my morals, and my values. I clung to everything bad for me, and only that. I used to curse God when the sun would rise because I was still around to see it go up. Shame and guilt had completely taken over my life. This has sent me into a dark, drug-induced depression. This, of course, led to countless felonies, followed by even more warrants and violations, pages and pages of mugshots, and finally prison. I was alone and broken with absolutely no hope for a future. My problems just kept accumulating, and I had no idea how to fix them. So I kept doing what I always did. I ran from everything and everyone that truly mattered. In 2019, while sitting in jail, I made one call. I didn't know at the time that one call would change the whole trajectory of my life. My dad was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer and only given 6 months to live. At this point, he hadn't talked to me in years. That's when God spoke for the first time. I knew I had to do something different, and I knew that I couldn't do it on my own. This is where my recovery journey started. I got out of jail, I got clean, I joined church, and I got saved. I went home to my family, and I let go of most of my friends, most of my places, and most of my things. I started repairing the life I had destroyed. At some point, I started to learn from my mistakes. Each one has taught me something new about myself and my path. I have failed more times than I would like to admit, but somehow I kept finding the courage to get back up. On May 28th of last year, I was arrested on 10 possession charges, just 1 month after relapsing for the 4th time. The sudden loss of one of my favorite people sent me spiraling back to a place I swore I'd never go back to. Again, God spoke. I knew prison wasn't the answer. I knew at the end of the day it wasn't going to change anything. I knew what needed changing was me. The one thing I thought I could never do was maintain a sober lifestyle in this town, which is exactly why it was the one thing I had to do for myself. So I asked for a chance, and I viewed it as an opportunity. After hearing all the horror stories of drug court, I knew it was the one thing that was going to test my limits. I knew if anything was going to help me, it would be that. I am proud to say that I have taken full advantage of this program and have allowed it to do what it is intended to do. I have allowed it to change my life. I will soon advance to the final phase, and I hope to graduate in October, and I plan on staying involved even after that. Drug court has given me the ability to operate at a deeper level in life. It has given me the opportunity to focus on myself and to learn who I really am. I no longer get anxiety when I walk into a courtroom. I even look forward to my monthly appointments at probation. I take pride in following the rules and doing things just as I'm supposed to. I have a whole team of people that believe in my future and are willing to help. Treatment has taught me the tools to redirect a thought before it becomes an action. It has taught me how to be honest with myself and given me the confidence to completely let go of the things and people that were holding me back. It has taught me how to stay consistent in my recovery and how not to act on my emotions. It's taught me how to fight for myself and how to cope with the losses of life without allowing heartache to completely derail me. I've spent countless hours in Miss Suzette's office, some days crying, some days laughing, and yeah, even some days arguing. I've always been stubborn, but I'm learning to be receptive at the same time. She has spent almost a whole year teaching me how to get out of my own way, and somewhere in the midst of that, I learned to like who I am. Today, I am a present mother, daughter, and niece. Today, I am someone that can be trusted and depended on. Today, I stand firm on my faith and let God clear the path ahead of me. Today, I'm a beacon of light in the recovery community, and I do my best to do my part. Drug court has taught me that I no longer have to run from anything. The only way to get through it is to face it. That's why I'm standing in front of you today. Today, I have goals, a career, responsibilities, and a purpose in life. Drug court has given me the opportunity to shine from within, along with the tools to succeed on a daily basis. Today, my family listens when I speak, and they no longer have to question my intentions or fear our future. And for that, we will be forever grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that, gentleman, is why I do this. All right, who's next, Ward or Jess?
You did an amazing job, okay? Yeah.
It's all yours.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Ward, and I'm an active addict and recovering alcoholic and addict. I'm active in drug court because this is the last line. I've been to rehab, I've been to jail, and I've been doing drugs for many, many years. I finally woke up to the fact that, you know, those people that I was hanging around, I thought they were my friends. No, they're not. They're my associates. And I don't deal with them. My friends are right behind me. And with the care of God and this program, it's giving me my life back. It's actually makes me feel good to wake up in the morning knowing that I'm going to this program. This program is something that I wish I'd have known years ago. I wouldn't be here right now. But there again, this is the way it is. And I want to thank each one of you all for help this program staying on its feet and get funded, because it's saving my life and many other lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Ward and Nikki are current participants in drug court. The next person who's going to speak to you is Jess, and she's a recent graduate of our drug court. So she's finished up and she's out living her own life, but she's here today to talk to you for a few minutes. Come on up, Jess.
This is kind of, I wish I'd went before Nikki. Her testimony was amazing.
You'll be fine.
But, so, you know, none of us woke up one day and said, you know, I want to be an addict. Drugs are what I want to do. You know, I partied as a teenager, you know, just having fun. And then I had some medical issues and some trauma, and the drugs just, you know, fell into place. And all of a sudden, it was my whole life. I woke up every day and just prayed that it would be over. Like, I 100% thought that I would die an addict. When I was offered drug court, I only did it to get out of jail. I thought, no way was this gonna work. There's no way. Everyone told me don't take it, you know, you're gonna fail. But I wanted out of jail, so I took it. And immediately I put myself in a coma, you know, got high when I got out, and that was it. I said, I'm gonna do this program to the fullest, and it has completely changed every aspect of my life. I now, you know, I have 2 jobs. I have my son full-time. I do everything, you know, at a responsible part of the community, you know, and sorry.
No, you're fine, please.
But drug court 100% saved my life, and it is, I recommend it for anyone who wants a change, and for anyone, you know, it's possible.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your Honor, our chairman just walked in, so I'm going
Okay.
to pass the gavel.
All right.
and move to my seat, okay?
Okay. I'll bring my certificate up so that she can sign it while she's,
Judge Morris, this is my first exposure to this. I've known Jess for about 30 years. Very proud of her.
yeah, we're very proud of her. We're proud of all of our graduates. And, you know, you've just heard the story of 3 people out of this program today, but every one of them sitting behind me has a story, a similar story, you know, or a story that, you know, mirrors a lot of what's going on in the day-to-day life. And, you know, again, I ask y'all to continue to support us. I know we've always had good support from the county commission, and I so much appreciate that. That's why we come here every year and talk with you and, you know, let you know that we're still around, let you hear what's happening with the tax dollars that y'all are spending on drug court and how Putnam County is getting its payback, you know, out of that program. The recidivism rate for folks who have been through drug court is much lower than people who have not been through drug court. We have about at least a 75 to 80% deal where these people don't get arrested again. They don't have any problems again. So we can't ask for, you know, much more than that. But again, we thank you for having us. And if you have any questions or any comments, be glad to hear them.
I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right.
Commissioner, thank you, Madam Chair. Your Honor, if you'll stay there for just a moment.
Sure.
You know, I'm so glad that cameras weren't around when I was growing up here. And I lived a life that I could have been sitting right where you're at. I'm not gonna lie to you. Never got arrested. I think by the grace of God, I got out of certain things sometimes, but I'm gonna tell you, I think the best thing that happened to me was I was 23 and wondering, Lord, what am I gonna do? And I got married to a very strong woman who and we were poor. So that was like, you know, there was no playing around. So I'm just saying, you've got 4 commissioners, 5 of us that sit up here, all products of Putnam County. Some of us told that you'll never amount to anything, me being one of those. You'll never amount. I was able to stand in the Oval Office of the President of the United States with my family and pray for our president, Donald Trump, the first time he was president. I'm going to tell you, the sky's the limit in Putnam County. I've always said this county, you can recreate yourself. Anytime you want to hit that button and recreate yourself, you can do that here because we understand. We truly do. Mm-hmm. And there's no amount of money. I mean, I know you need more. Everybody needs more, right? But 252 lives were changed in this program. Mm-hmm. That amounts to something. That means something. And you can't put a price tag on that. So, Your Honor, thank you for stepping up. And I appreciate all of you that are here in the audience today and some of those that couldn't be here and the partners that we have that work with you to invest in people's lives to make you better. But it is, like you said, you have to look in the mirror one day and you say, it's on me, it's not on them. And it's my fault that I'm where I'm at. Okay, and what can I do to get out? And there's tools available in the tool chest to help you with that. And Your Honor, thank you. You'll go down and this will be your legacy when you finally retire, whenever that is. You'll be going, yes, I made a difference in hundreds of lives of people. No doubt, and I thank you for that.
I agree with you totally, Commissioner Harvey. This, you know, I hope this will be my legacy. I want it to be my legacy. I enjoy this. You know, I tell y'all every year how much I love this aspect of my job, more so than some others, but you know, I do it all, but this is my real passion right here, and these folks are my real passion, and I love working with them, and I love working with my drug court team. They're amazing, so
Yeah, I've
thank
got
you.
to echo what Commissioner Harvey said. You know, when I was elected, you didn't elect an angel. You elected somebody from Putnam County that cared. All of us up here have our faults, but we have all found partners in our lives that have supported us. And it takes that strong team and somebody that's going to support you and lift you up. I've been married 26 years. Leota, where are you at now?
36.
Larry? 41. So it takes a lot of support, and you need a teammate. If that's one piece of advice that I can give all of you, take it to heart.
We're so proud of this program. Thank you, Judge Morris. Would y'all like to get a picture, or are you in the middle of your?
No, we can get a picture, and then we're going to have to scoot out. My folks need to get to work, and I've got hearings as well.
All right, thank you.
Come on up.
I'll see you back at the office. I'm not going to talk about it here. Congratulations.
For me, I'd have been good if you sat here all day. Emotional. This is Susan's class.
If you need me to step in, I'll be glad. Well, we have families too, right? So.
Thank you. We appreciate everybody being here today. We're going to move into our planning and development public hearing.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Michael Graves, Planning and Development Services. We will begin with rezone 25-000003. The applicant, Michael Thompson, is requesting a zoning map amendment from agriculture to commercial general on a 3.8 acre property located at 878 North State Road 21 in Melrose to allow the development of a large vehicle storage facility. The surrounding zoning includes commercial general C3, commercial retail C2, and agriculture AG. The subject site has a future land use designation of commercial. The vacant parcel has approximately 240 feet of road frontage on North State Road 21, and according to the National Wetlands Index, wetlands layer and FEMA flood zone layer on the GIS reference map, the property does not appear to have any wetlands and is in FEMA flood zone X. Should the applicant's request be approved, the applicant will then submit to Development Review Committee, DRC, to satisfy the additional development requirements. The DRC shall review plans to ensure development is compliant with local, state, and federal development regulations. Other agencies, including but not limited to the Putnam County Public Works, Emergency Services, and St. Johns River Water Management District, will review plans to ensure the development will not adversely affect surrounding properties by complying with each agency's specific regulations associated with new development. Here you can see an aerial. At the time of application, it was two separate properties, indicating that blue line there. It has now since been combined. You can see the future land use is commercial here, and the surrounding zoning is agriculture and mix of commercial. Staff recommends approval of the request to amend the zoning map from agriculture to commercial general. Staff finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the adopted comprehensive plan and meets the locational requirements of the commercial general zoning district provided in the Land Development Code and Comprehensive Plan. In their April 9th, 2025 meeting, the Putnam County Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the same. Any questions?
Thank you. Are there any questions for the board? Commissioner Harvey?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have a question. You know, I'm all in favor of this, let me say that, but going from ag to C3 is a very intensive jump. It's a big leap. C1 would have been good. C3 only allows us to have the truck parking, is that the deal?
C3 is the lowest zoning district intensity that allows for truck parking, RV storage, and boat storage as well. The idea is that this is for the storage of RVs, boats, and semi-trucks, and C3 is the lowest intensity that that can be in.
Okay. And it's going to be properly buffered and all?
Yes, sir. It will be required to have on the side of the agriculture a 20B buffer on as you can see on the map there, the west and south, east and south sides. On the north side where it is commercial 2, it will require a 10A buffer. This is, for all intents and purposes, an extension of the commercial general mini warehouse storage facility located across the State Road 21.
Okay, but at the same time, again, the zoning runs with the land.
Yes, sir.
So once this is done, it's going to be C3, and anything allowed in C3 is going to follow that land.
That is correct, but any development will need to meet those buffering requirements as well as make sure that it's not going to be too hazardous to the local community. As mentioned before, the DRC will ensure that any kind of stormwater will be taken care of, buffering will be taken care of, road impacts, since it's a state road, the Florida Department of Transportation will weigh in to make sure that any like additional turn lanes or anything will be established.
Good, thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Are there any other questions from the board? All right, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody who would like to speak for or against this rezoning? All right, seeing none, we'll be back to the board.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the REZ 25-00003 Thompson Ordinance 2025-013 by title only.
I will second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, going into rezone, the next one.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. Once again, for the record, Michael Graves, Planning and Development Services. This is rezone 25-000004. The applicants Robert and Margaret Mara are requesting a zoning map amendment from commercial neighborhood C1 to residential 2 R2 on a 2.8 acre parcel located at 130 Smith Lane in Crescent City to allow the development of a single family home. All surrounding zoning is residential 2. The subject site has a future land use designation of rural residential. It is a vacant parcel that has approximately 140 feet of access from Smith Lane. According to the National Wetlands layer and the FEMA flood zone layer of the GIS reference map, the lands do not appear to contain wetlands and is located in a mixture of FEMA flood zones X, X500, and AE, with AE being a special flood hazard area. Should the applicant's request be approved, the applicant will then be eligible to obtain all proper permits, including build permits and site work permits to establish their home. The property will also be eligible for all other developments allowed by right in the residential 2 zoning district, subject to appropriate reviews and permits. Here you can see an aerial of this very familiar property, the future land use, the zoning. Staff recommends approval of the request to amend the zoning map from commercial 1 to residential 2. Staff finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan and meets the locational requirements of the residential 2 zoning district in accordance with the Land Development Code and Comprehensive Plan. In their April 9th, 2025 meeting, the Putnam County Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the same. Any questions?
Are there any questions from the board? All right, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak for or against this item? All right, seeing none, we're back to the board.
I'd like to move to approve this rezone request, REZ 25-000024 for Robert and Margaret Mara, ordinance 2025-014.
All right, we have a motion, and I believe
Second.
it's 04, and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Before we go into the impact fee, we're going to take a 5-minute recess. All right, we will reconvene the Board of County Commission meeting and the Planning and Development public hearing. This is a public hearing. We have been informed that the consultant has had some travel delays. In the meantime, though, we will be able to listen to anybody who wants to speak regarding the impact fees, and then we will have her presentation at 1 p.m. today, and you can also either speak then, you can speak now and then, or you can speak one or the other. So is there anyone, Madam Clerk?
Madam Chair, do you need a motion to move that to 1 o'clock?
Yes.
Madam Chairman, I'm sorry. I make a motion that we move our impact fee report to 1 o'clock certain today.
All right.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And I apologize, this is one of those things that happens in life sometimes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
So we will hear from the consultant, and she will go through all of the presentation at 1 o'clock. Again, anyone who speaks now is welcome to come back at 1 if they want to. First, we'll hear from Brandon Smiley.
Good morning, Council.
Good
My name
morning.
is Brandon Smiley. I am an investor and home builder that has put a focus on trying to provide affordable housing to the Putnam County community. I am currently in opposition of implementing impact fees at this time. The cost of construction is extremely volatile, and if you combine that with current interest rates, the market is uncertain to say the least. The challenge of providing affordable housing is second to that of actually affording it. I can stretch a dollar with the best of them, but I draw the line when it comes to jeopardizing my quality. I would like to find alternative methods to give back and invest in this community, but impact fees at this time would have an extremely detrimental impact on my business and the local small businesses I support. That's it.
Are you currently building in Putnam County?
Yes, ma'am.
You are? And do you fall under the category of affordable housing?
I believe so.
Okay,
It's under 300,000.
okay. All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, you can ask a question.
Madam Chair, thank you, Madam Chair. Last week in our Putnam County Development Authority meeting, broached the topic of maybe some type of grants for businesses to offset the impact. What if that came down to workforce housing? What if that was an idea? Would you still be against impact fees if there was some type of a grant program for workforce housing for certain individuals?
Yes, sir. I would absolutely be open to anything of that sort. I was a little nervous that I would, being a smaller business than, let's just say, like the big name home builders like D.R. Horton or whatever, I was afraid that I would fall into that category of just eating a bunch of impact fees for properties I already bought.
Thank you.
But I'm open to any sort of collaboration with the county.
I'm not saying it's gonna happen, I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's an idea that was broached the other day, and it's, something that could be considered for workforce housing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Commissioner Alexander.
Commissioner Harvey, can you define workforce housing for the gallery?
I wish I could. I
Yeah.
can tell you that when I was starting out, workforce housing was $25,000. I'm hearing reports of 300,000. Is that an affordable house? Wouldn't be for me, even in my market today.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that bad. I'm just saying. So I don't know what that word means, but I know that we've got to help those who help us. And I'm thinking the firefighters, the police officers, the law enforcement, the first responders, the nurses, the doctors, maybe. I don't know what that means. But there's got to be some level that we can say this is what workforce housing means to us.
Absolutely, absolutely, because, most people don't know what the county commissioner salaries are, so we are below most salaries in this room. So we are very aware of how difficult things are to afford and the cost. So we understand that before we make any of these decisions, they won't be made lightly.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. David Minor.
David Minor, 116 Sheffey Road.
I've talked to a lot of people about this thing, and I understand where we need the impact fee. But I also know that there's some other counties and done some different things where they can give an exemption for somebody that's owned a piece of property like 15 years, and they've been paying property tax on all that time. And the fact is that they got nothing for it. So, you know, I'd like to see some places where there could be exemptions on it. You know, if they bought it for an investment and they've been paying property tax on it, and, you know, they've done nothing with it and really get no service for it. So they've got some equity in the big ball of things helping pay for the county. I don't like the impact fee, but I understand where it's necessary. But I also would rather see y'all look into other things. A lot of people are just not going to be, it's not going to help them out. And the fact is, we've already got places that nobody pays property tax because of the exemptions and stuff like that. I know this gets out of your wheelhouse, but the fact is, if everybody paid something on property tax, that would resolve y'all's problem of paying for these water treatment, sewer treatment plants such as that. You'd have a bigger bank account to work with, and everybody could share the cost. If that didn't work, even another penny sales tax on everything, not just gas, but on everything, and go to that, I did some figuring on it, that would give you a whole lot more money, and everybody that would be involved in that, even people that's from out of town, here on vacation or here visiting or stuff like that. Would we individually see that money out of our pocket? Probably not, until you know, buy big purchases and stuff like that. But I understand where it's needed, but I'd like to see us look at other avenues. And if you have to do the impact fee, then some exemptions in it, so.
Okay, thank you. Michael Woodward. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Michael Woodward, 517 South Francis Street, Interlochen. I want to express my support for the initiative to institute impact fees in Putnam County. I will support impact fees no matter how you do them, but as we've heard from a couple other people, there may be some adjustments that can be made about how we do them that could be helpful. Some people say that impact fees are just another tax. That's not true. They're a way to keep taxes from going up on everybody by ensuring that the development that creates the sort of impact that requires the extension of additional capital infrastructure pays for that itself rather than making all the rest of us pay for it, subsidize it up front. Sometimes you'll hear the argument that, well, anything that increases the tax base is good. Well, that's not really true. It's somewhat true with commercial development because eventually commercial development will pay its own way. In the meantime, the rest of the tax base would still have to dig down to subsidize the upfront costs for the infrastructure to provide the services. But for residential development, it's never true that residential development, by adding to the tax base, creates a fiscal boon for the county or the existing taxpayers. It does the opposite because residential development always costs more on a year-to-year ongoing basis for the services it requires than what it pays in taxes. So that's before you even think about the initial hard hit of the investment in the additional infrastructure required to extend services to that development, which that development and the people who live in that development will demand and are entitled to from day one. What I have suggested briefly on a previous occasion, and just want to reiterate, is that you consider a tiered system of impact fees on residential development. The majority of the counties surrounding Putnam County have a tiered system of impact fees, a tiered scale, so that smaller houses pay a smaller impact fee compared to larger houses. The justification for that is that statistically larger houses tend to support more residents. They have more people in them. Now I know we all know the exceptions. We all know the little house that has a family of 10 living in it, And we all know the big two-story mansion that has just one old lady and a lot of cats. But statistically, the data shows that on average, bigger houses have more people. And it's really the people that create the impact.
It's okay, go ahead.
You might not think so in some cases, like with fire or something like that, but actually most fires are caused by the people who live in the house through cooking or leaving devices on chargers or using hair dryers or whatever. So the fair thing to do is to have a tiered scale like most of the counties around us do. They do that for a reason. There's a reason they do that. And that would be consistent with the goal of supporting more affordable housing, such that the smaller, less expensive houses would be paying a lower impact fee than would the larger, more luxurious ones. So that's what I came to say this morning, but if you have any questions for me or any arguments to push back at me, I'd be glad to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Woodward.
Thank you.
Mr. Benji Bates.
Good morning. Benji Bates, 3400 Crill Avenue, Palatka, Florida. Just to add to what Mr. Woodard said, I did look, and there was a national study by the American Farmland Trust, and that showed that for every $1 in tax revenue that residential development costs, it uses about $1.50 to $1.75 in public services. In contrast, commercial and industrial development often generate $2 to $3 in tax revenue for every $1 in services it consumes. I'm here today on behalf of the Putnam County Chamber of Commerce, and our board of directors voted for full support of the impact fees. We know that growth is coming to this community, and without a structure in place to management, the cost will fall on the backs of residents and businesses that are already here. Again, we don't want to slow growth, we want to grow in the smart ways. Our board also unanimously recommends that the county preserve the ability to set aside a portion of impact fee revenue for the future targeted economic development efforts, specifically those that bring high-wage jobs and expand the tax base. We're asking the board to maintain flexibility when a formal policy is in place and the right opportunity arises. Communities don't rise on hope alone, they rise on infrastructure, planning, and the courage to invest in themselves. Passing impact fees is part of that. So is planning for what comes next. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving back to the board. Again, we will have the presenter here at 1 o'clock this afternoon. And I guess that's all we have for now. Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to speak regarding impact fees? All right. Again, we will have our impact fee report has been rescheduled for 1 p.m. today. Moving on into public comment on agenda items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation about matters in which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit your time to 3 minutes. Public comment cards are conveniently placed on the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk who sits to the right of the podium. Madam Clerk, do you have any public comment cards on agenda items at this time? All right, is there anybody who wants to speak on agenda items, both consent or new business? All right, moving into consent. Is there any commissioner who would like to pull anything? Commissioner Alexander? None. All right, Commissioner Newbold?
Nothing to pull.
Commissioner Harvey?
I have none.
And I have none.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move consent agenda items A, B, C, D for approval.
All right,
I'll second that, Larry.
we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, new business? Who's handling the first item?
I am.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We had an opportunity to purchase some used floating docks in good conditions and have proposed utilizing those docks at 3 of our locations: Drayton Island, Bostwick Boat Ramp, and Veterans Memorial Park, as these are our high utilization areas that do not currently have these types of assets or facilities for our patrons. We did receive a cost per location that's outlined. The sum total of all locations is 61.9, so just under 62. And that will be a single source procurement for the same entity that assisted us with Pico Boat Ramp, as well as direct owner purchases through Metal Holbrook Manufacturing to allow us to save those sales tax dollars. So we're looking for feedback and approval to move forward from the board.
All right, Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Absolutely. I'd like to commend staff. Excuse me. You guys have enough trouble hearing me without the mic on. But definitely want to commend staff. That was a very strategic purchase. I bought docks. I live on the river. I know how expensive they are. That is a fantastic purchase for those three for $60,000. I just wanted to tell you guys thank you for working hard and finding a strategic way to spend our dollars.
Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I also want to say the Veterans Memorial Park, that's on the east side of the bridge over in East Palatka. You know, we did a lot of work on that road going into that because the hurricane wiped it out. There were some issues there, but I will tell you, that place, you can't drive across the bridge without seeing lots of people over there using that. I think this is just going to be an asset for our community to have it over there and another opportunity to enjoy the St. Johns River. So I appreciate that, and I'm in supportive of all this. Thank you.
Commissioner Newbold.
Yeah, just I want to pile on with the support. I appreciate the strategic placement of these throughout the county. I've already had 2 calls from different parts of the county that kind of got wind of this and were very appreciative. So thanks for giving a lot of thought and to the project. Thank you.
Thank you. I also want to say that this is a good project. I know I had somebody reach out to me about the one in Bostwick. There was some concerns. Yes, you can put a boat in at Bostwick. I've done it myself, by myself. So I can assure you, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And you do might have to duck depending on the height of the water whenever you go under the bridge. But you can definitely put a boat in there, and a floating dock will be a great asset to that small area. And especially Veterans Park. Oh my goodness, Veterans Park's going to, like Commissioner Harvey said, it gets utilized all the time, and people will definitely be using that part of it. So I'm excited for this, and I appreciate all the hard work that went into it and the forethought. With that, back to the board.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the floating dock project of $61,913.14, Resolution 2025-035.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, moving on to sanitation, Mr. J. Tilton.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I wanted to bring to you all to have a conversation about, as we're looking to optimize our operation and the different things that we do, one of the things that we're looking at is wanting to close the Huntington and Interlaken drop-off sites on Mondays and then extend the hours the rest of the week to allow folks to come in. This will allow us to do a couple of things. One, it'll allow us to give our employees a two-day weekend, which is something that we really have to focus on. If you look at our turnover rate, especially in the sanitation department, it's staggering, to be honest with you, with what it is. As someone who came from corporate America who actually measured those metrics, we need to take every opportunity we can to try to get our employees a little bit better. And so the other thing, though, when you look at, we're the only county in the Northeast Florida area that actually has universal curbside pickup and have those sites open 6 days a week. Most places, or all places that offer universal pickup in our North Florida area, they're only open 4 days a week. A lot of the ones that don't offer curbside pickup at all, and that's their structure for picking up their garbage, is only open 5 days a week, and we have ours open 6. But we understand that we don't want to necessarily take away from our ability to serve our citizens. So that's why we want to extend the hours. It allows us to work towards our 410 initiative and have that schedule set in place a little bit better. And we also feel like that there will be a little bit of savings. Garbage just doesn't pile up, I've found in the business. If you're off a day or whatnot, you're not going to double up the next day. For some reason, it just kind of levels itself out. So we do feel like we will have some savings, especially with the initiatives that we put in place with the pre-crusher dumpsters and stuff to allow us not to have to haul as many loads going forward. So I wanted to bring that for you today. We do feel like will be a benefit, and we're recommended that we do this. But of course, I wanted to bring it into your commissioners to have this discussion and get your approval.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tilton. Commissioner Harvey, you recognized.
You knew I was going to talk about this.
Come on.
I applaud you for doing this, but I will say it's concerning to me, as you well know. The perception is that West Putnam gets dumped on a lot out in the woods, and we do. And what would that perception be if we closed on Monday? I don't know that.
Sure.
I like the idea of extended hours. I like the idea that you're trying to fix the scales out there that's been needing to be done for over 12 years that I've known about.
And let me on those, we had a contractor that said I can fix them because those scales have been here forever. I mean, they were here in the early 80s. We have parted ways because he couldn't get that done, and we were looking at the new scale. So it might be I have to come back and just replace them in some form or fashion.
Well, I think we're going to have to join the 21st century in
Yes, sir.
garbage collection. And believe me, this is not a convenience. It's a collection site.
Sure.
And I made that very clear in my career. It's more convenient to pile it up by the road.
And let Waste Pro pick it up.
But that ain't going to happen in some of this stuff.
Sure.
And my concern for Monday is that we get a lot of out-of-towners that come down. And then they go to the dump on Monday after they spent the weekend remodeling their place or something? I don't know that. If they do, I call it the dump. I'm sorry. I remember driving the truck down to the bottom of the pit when I was a young kid. So, but I don't mind this. I do want to ask, when would you?
We would want to put it into effect July 1st so that we had plenty of time to put signs and everything like that.
Why wouldn't we just wait till the fiscal year starts in October and do it then? And that would give us a lot of time. I'm just asking.
Commissioner, I don't understand what would be the difference between starting now and starting. I mean, the time is the time is. Are you wanting some sort of study or? Because I mean, Monday's not our busiest day, but it's not our slowest day.
Right.
So I don't know that it will make that much of a difference, and especially now when we're trying to align with our 410 initiative, it helps us to go ahead and get in that direction.
You probably already know your customers on Monday anyway.
Yes, sir.
So with a flyer, with signage.
And that's why we were wanting, the 1st of July, that gives us 30 days, plus 35 days to get that out, have those discussions, let them know what we got going on, and then that we'll be, we're extending hours. If you look from an hour perspective, they lose a half an hour during the week is all that we're losing at the time open is a half an hour.
I don't have a problem with it. I trust you, and I trust your ability. I trust our staff. It's just a matter of perception that
Yes, sir.
you know what's going to happen. And again, it's hard enough to clean up Putnam County, West Putnam included. And there's just so many opportunities to go down a dirt road, pull off into the woods, and dump it and leave.
And I have no doubt that we're going to show up one day and stuff's going to be thrown out at the gate, but I'll handle that as our department always does.
And that probably would happen. And
Yes, sir.
would that be the worst thing in the world? Probably not, but we don't encourage that. I
Sure.
understand. But, if it's, I always say people don't go to the collection site of the landfill and return full. They want to be empty by the time they go home.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
and I understand that. So, but let me say this while I still have the floor. I was telling a young man the other day, we were talking about roads, and I remember I had an old Ford pickup truck, column, shifted on the column. You threw the column shifter on the seat as you drove down the road because you didn't need it anymore, just stuck it in when you did need it. But the whole community put the garbage in that truck. All my neighbors did. And on Saturday morning, you go to the dump and you'd unload your truck and throw all the neighbors' garbage in the hole. And then you'd come back and get the bed springs and you'd drag the roads out there around your neighborhood because they needed to be drugged. They've been a week now since we did it, so times have changed a lot. But,
Sure.
but we still, that's with the old days there. I'll just end with that. But I do appreciate it. I understand the concern. And if we can give our residents enough time warning, then I'm sure I'll be for it. So
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Tilton, what are the hours currently?
8:30 to 5.
8:30 to 5?
Yes, sir.
So, and the new hours are going to be?
7:30 to 5:30.
Okay, so that's gonna give folks an opportunity that work a regular shift and a regular job, time to come in the morning before or potentially after work and
Yes,
get a
sir.
window there. Because a lot of the people out there in those areas are working class folks that work regular jobs. So, that sounds like a win-win to me. And like you said, you're gonna publicize it. I'm sure Laura's gonna put something out as well. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think it's good. And it's gonna, like you said, align with the 410s, that initiative you guys are pushing. And currently, you said those folks only had one day off a week, Sundays?
Yes, sir. Well, what we do is they have a Wednesday or Thursday off, right? But they never have a 2-day weekend.
Yeah, I remember those days when I was in the car business. It's rough on your family.
Yes, sir.
Yep, so yeah, I think that would definitely contribute to your retention as well, so. Okay, those are the questions I had. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Suggs, Administrator Suggs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to have a follow-up conversation, and sounds like I probably don't need to from what I'm hearing now, but I'm going to tell you, this absolutely falls in line with what we're trying to do with the retention plan. We've had these conversations, and Mr. Tilton, Andy's had this conversation with staff, and as you know, this is a trial period that we're doing countywide, and I think it's something we probably need to try to support if we can. Some other things that Mr. Tilton had mentioned that, he's right, there's not going to be a whole lot of additional refuse that's going to be brought out because we're closed on Mondays. I think we're going to see a significant operations as well. Hopefully fueling and everything else for that goes along with it. So I really think it's a great opportunity for us to do that. And as Mr. Tilton has alluded, he'll monitor the situation. We do need to make sure that we don't create an issue by trying to solve an issue. And we absolutely will have our public information officer, Ms. Berardi, do a story on it, as well as put everything out on all of our social media accounts as well, to make sure that we get all the notice out that we can. And hopefully Jay will make sure he starts passing this flyer out immediately to all of his customers and DSOs on Monday. So, we'll get the word out as best we can.
Actually contribute to the list, why would you have done it? The list is folks have more opportunity after work,
That is probably one of the pieces that is being asked here today, is the fact that we're going to be open earlier in the morning, later in the afternoon, because I know a lot of times, I'll use a personal experience myself. I lived in Union County. We didn't have pickup. We had to go to a collection center. And it made it a whole lot easier to throw a bag of garbage in the truck and haul it on the way to the office, than it was to wait to the weekend. So I'm hoping that a lot of these things that we're putting in place is going to be what we're looking for.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I appreciate Commissioner Alexander and Mr. Suggs. It's always how we craft the message, correct? If we say we're just going to be closed on Monday to enjoy a 2-day week, nah, that ain't going to work. If we say we're going to be open for extended hours and before you go to work and after you get off work, that's a good point right there. So I think it's always about the message that we craft, because the unintended consequences that we have in our business is a lot sometimes. We try to do what we think's the right thing, and we find out that, oh, man, didn't think about that. But I do think the message is we're going to be open extended hours. We're going to let our employees enjoy a 2-day weekend, and we're going to be more accommodating to the needs that you have. I think that because to be honest with you, we're not in Spain where we shut down at 2 o'clock.
We don't get a siesta.
Yeah, but I'd like to, because it's too hot to be out there at 2 o'clock.
Is that a motion?
You want that to be a?
I second.
Does the employees want to be? No, I'm teasing. But I appreciate it. I do. And I think the message, if we craft it properly, people accept that message and understand that we're not trying to take something away from them. We're giving them more opportunity to be better. So
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
It'll be crafted as such.
And I think it's a cost savings, like we talked about, for the equipment, the gas, and the hauling back and forth, and also for our staff, because like you said, maybe it would reduce the turnover rate. I think that's very important. And for those who don't have the package, I do want to let you know, Mr. Tilton has given us some information about what some surrounding counties are doing. I think it's fair that the public knows this. So Clay County has 3 sites, and they're open Thursday through Saturday only, and 7:30 to 5:30. So we're still doing more than them. Alachua County is open Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. Closed on Sunday and Thursday. And then Marion County, who does not offer any kind of curbside pickup, is open Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Friday, and Sunday. So they're closed Tuesdays and Thursdays. So what we're doing here is not unique. There's other counties around us that close more than 1 day a week. So I feel like that we're falling in line a little bit, but we're also extending hours to our citizens, and I think that's very important. To what Commissioner Alexander said is, you know, somebody's getting off shift work, and they know they've got their trailer loaded up at the house, they can drop it off and then go home, take a shower, and go to bed for the day. And for somebody who's got off at 4:30, and they still have time to run to the dump, I still call it the dump too, the landfill, and get their business taken care of. So I think it's great, and I do obviously will always care about our employees and our citizens, and I think that's what we're trying to do here, is take care of both of those. So with that, it's back to the board.
Do we need to make a motion on this?
Please.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we do approve the Monday closures at Huntington and Interlochen Solid Waste and Recycling Centers per Mr. Tilton's recommendation.
All right, we have a motion on the floor.
Second.
And a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
very
Tilton.
much.
You didn't slip that CS in.
You thought it was gonna be a lot worse than that, didn't you?
Moving into public comment on miscellaneous items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation about matters on which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit your time to 3 minutes. Public comment cards are conveniently placed at the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk who sits to the right of the podium. I think I should be able to say that in my sleep. Do you have any cards? Is there anyone who would like to speak on anything that we have not spoken on today, any miscellaneous items? All right, moving into appointments. Commissioner Alexander, do you have any appointments?
I have none.
Commissioner Newbold?
Yes, I have one. I would like to put forward the name of John Maluda of Palatka for the Planning Commission.
Planning Commission, what was it again?
John Maluda.
Okay, all right, and you'll get with Ms. Laura?
She has his
She
information.
has it, all
yes.
right. Commissioner Harvey, do you have any?
I have none, thank you.
All right, and for the library board, District 2, I believe you received the Karen Lang application? Oh, okay, I'd gotten an email that you had, but we'll circle back, but that would be my recommendation for District 2. All right, Clerk of Courts, Mr. Clerk Reynolds.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'd just like to take a quick moment real quick to thank county staff. A member of my staff, Mrs. Julie McLean, our project manager, recently met with county staff and the building and permitting department in regards to our customer service building upgrades that we're working on, and she relayed that they were extremely helpful and extremely beneficial to meet with them. So I just wanted to extend my thanks to them and my thanks to Mrs. McLean. So that's all I have this morning.
All right,
Thank you.
And I do want to say real quick that your, what is it, your on your website that tells people if something's been recorded? What's the name of it?
We call it the property fraud alert system, but it just detects a name if anything's recorded with
So
it.
that happened to me, and I looked something up real quick, and it wasn't me, it was another person.
Similar name.
Similar name,
Yes.
but
Okay.
anyway, it caught it, and so I just want to say that was caught. It was the other Leota Wilkinson in Bostwick, but it caught it, and
Good.
I
Good.
was like very taken back. I was like, yeah, this thing's working.
Yes,
So good
ma'am.
job on that.
That's good to hear. Thank
Yep.
you.
County attorney's not here. County administrator.
I have no further comments, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner comment, starting with to my left, Commissioner Alexander.
I have no comments today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, we're coming back at
We're
1.
coming
We'll
back
get,
at 1.
yeah,
All right,
yeah,
we got plenty of
we'll
this.
be back.
We'll be back. Okay. Commissioner Newbold. All right. And Commissioner Harvey?
Well, you know, since we're gonna wait till 1, I'll wait till 1, so,
All right.
thank you.
And I have none either. All right, with that, this meeting is adjourned and recessed. This meeting is recessed, and we will reconvene at 1 o'clock to hear, impact fee. Thank you.